Hey, welcome back. So, as you can see behind me, it was a very busy weekend and I just did not take the time to pick up the camera and show how to do some of these things. I'll do some canning videos later, but we did end up with 90 jars, and that's brined lemons. We made some jelly, we canned some milk, canned some chicken thighs in broth, and then we just have some broth. A total of 90 jars, so it was a busy weekend. So I have to tell you how I saved some money on some canning jars. If you cannot find these used, you can actually get a coupon and then buy them at the lowest price place that you can find. And for me, that was Walmart, the lowest price place that accepts coupons. So a lot of times they will put these coupons in the Sunday paper, and somebody had brought to my attention that there was a $3 off coupon, and I know that I needed about 5 more cases of pints because I had gone through all of my pint jars. So I got online and went to one of those coupon clipping services where you pay for somebody's time to actually clip the coupon, and then they mail it to you. And those coupons ended up being I think 30 cents a piece, but they were $3 off. So I was able to save $15 off of pint jars, and I got the pints from Walmart. So that's going to be my next project. I do have some more of that ground beef in the freezer. I did inventory the freezer, and I have 6 more of those 5-pound chubs, so about 30 more pounds of ground beef that I need to cook up and get going in the canner. So I have to tell you though, when I was buying those pint jars at Walmart, the lady who was checking me out, she's like, wow, you know, looks like you're going to be busy. And I told her I was going to be canning some ground beef, and she's like, really, you can do that? And you know, the guy that was behind me in line, he jumped in on the conversation, and so did the lady who let me go ahead of her, and she was waiting her turn actually at the end of the line. And so I talked to them about that, and you know, they're like, well, I didn't know you could do that. And I told them, I said, well, pretty much anything that you can buy in a can that sits on a shelf, you can put in a canning jar. And they're like, wow, didn't know that. And then the lady who was checking me out, she said, well, how long does that last? And I said, well, I don't know, because typically the food doesn't last very long around here. It usually gets eaten first. I said, but, you know, I imagine, you know, the canned meat's probably good up to 5 years. I don't know. I've never had any that long. And then I got to thinking, what is the oldest canned food that I have eaten? And that took me way back. So a little bit of back history. The reason why I ended up in Kansas is I was married at the time, and my ex-husband's grandma, she was living up here by herself, and she was getting on up there in age, and the yard here is pretty big. This house sits on 3 city lots, and she could not, due to her age and her physical health, she could not keep up on the lawn work. And she's like, if you move up here and just help me out, you can just live here. And she didn't charge anything, which it was a pretty good deal. And which was really nice, because my then husband and I at the time were Port College students. And so sometimes we would come back from college, and she had made a big pot of soup, and we would eat the soup, and then we would go to put our dish in the sink so we could wash it. And we look in the sink, and there were canning jars from the 1960s. And so yeah, she was going down into the creepy cellar, and that cellar was pretty creepy before I got down in there and cleaned it and whitewashed it. How she managed to get up and down those stairs, I don't know. And the way that you used to have to access the cellar was to actually, there was a trap door in the floor, and it was pretty heavy. And so you had to pick up 2 pieces of a trap door, move them to the side, and then go down the stairs. Now, since this kitchen was put on 16 years ago, this part of the house was ripped off and rebuilt. It was in pretty bad shape. Now you can just open a door and walk down the stairs. The stairs are not the best, but it's better than having to lift up a trap door. But how, in her poor health, her breathing was awful. I mean, she had really bad COPD, and she couldn't hardly get any air. But somehow she would manage to open up that floor, go down those stairs, and get those canned goods and make vegetable soup. And yeah, so she was going up and down those floors, and that was pretty interesting. And I'm here to say I am still alive, and that was in the late 90s. So let's see, I think I got married in 94 in July, and then I moved up here that summer, so we could start college up here at Wichita State. So anyway, late 90s, she was making this soup, and those canning jars were labeled from the 60s, and it wasn't even stuff that she canned. It came with the house. So that actually was canned by her second husband, who this was his house, and she had moved in here and got married to him and so forth. But his first wife, they did a lot of gardening, and they used to own all the lots on this block before they were sold off and houses put on there. So they had a whole city block, and they did a lot of gardening. And so yeah, that canned food, and there was a lot of it. And yeah, so the oldest food, so let's see, 60s to 70s, 70s to 80s, 80s to 90s. I'm guessing some of that food was a good 35 years old. So I'm still alive. Canned food can last that long. And yeah, so I don't suspect that all this, that's not going to stay on my shelf for 35 years. We'll get that eaten. I will tell you, all those canning jars that I bought, that lady was getting rid of, that they were her grandma's, I've used most of them, and I think there was, what did I buy, like 260 jars or so? I've managed to fill most of them, you know, whether it's dry canning, like your flour and stuff, or canning up milk and chicken broth. I have had a couple requests for some videos cooking using things that I have put up, and I think I'm going to start doing some of those. I don't know. I think I need to get on a schedule with posting videos, like what I do. When this channel first started, it was me getting out of debt, and it was things that I was doing to save money so that I could use that extra money to pay off my mortgage. And the mortgage has been paid off. So now, I guess I'm kind of looking for what direction I want to go with this. I know I still want to do saving money videos, but I think I need to have a schedule of what I want to do and when. I think I still want to do my series on rice and beans, and I think I want to do some on cheap recipes. But I do realize that not everybody that watches this channel is here for the food. So I think I need to come up with another direction. So I know I have had a sudden increase in subscribers. So I do want to thank all of my new subscribers, and then thank the ones that have stood by me since the channel has really started. I really appreciate your support, and I appreciate your comments. And I think what I'm going to start doing is maybe going through some of the comments and then some of the feedback that I have gotten, maybe either in person or on Facebook, and start addressing some of those questions. And then I think I might also go back and touch on some of the videos I've done in the past and give updates, like, for example, if I'm still doing these sorts of things, or how this has worked out for me in the long term, and and so forth. So if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, suggestions for a future video, if you could put those in the comments below. And if you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel and ring that bell so that you can get notified of when I post a new video out there. And again, this was a busy weekend for canning, and it went faster because of my All-American. You can do 21, or not 21, you can do 14 quarts at a time, along with my old pressure canner. That gives 7 more, so a total of 21 quarts at a time. So even though it does take a long time to pressure can meats, if you've got the bigger pressure canner, it sure does make it go faster. So, all right, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.